And I think like the thing is like there's actually like there can be a silver lining in the original Bioshock, but here it's just ugly and it's just
Just
cynical. Like
darkness. Yeah.
it's just there's no hope. It's just kind
Right.
of like nope, it just sucks. This is just bad.
Yep.
And the only and I think this is what like secular humanism sort of ultimately retreats into. Like we've
Yeah.
talked about it so many times, like with Near Automata, and it's like, and I think like here, like Levine just kind of in the game, he's just like he's like it doesn't matter. Like the best possible thing is just to die.
Right.
And again, like and I think that like that's what's kind of I think the game's interesting, and I think
Hmm.
again, there's things there that are kind of I don't know if I can even say worth wrestling with in some
Hmm.
ways, but
Hmm.
because it's like I said, it's one of these things where I think ultimately I'm kind of landing in this camp. Like the game, you can play it, and there are interesting things to take away with and sort of wrestle with, but as a general rule, like it's just so hostile to hope.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like the fact that it is like it's hostile to Christianity in a lot of ways,
Hmm.
through its portrayal and everything else. But it's just like it's just like it's kind of like one of those things where it's 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 almost like one of these things where like you were talking about sort of how like the ending bothers you because it's kind of incoherent. It doesn't really make sense, and it doesn't even follow the logic of its own things. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I think what's even sort of more frustrating about it to me isn't that it's like incoherent, but it just sort of like shrugs at the incoherentness. And it's like, this is the
Hmm.
best that we can do. Like, yeah, it
Right.
doesn't make sense. Like, but it doesn't matter. The best thing you can do is die. And it kind of like,
Right. 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 That message. Oh, like that is a dark place to come to. And not only, I mean, look,
I don't know that,
guy.
and to be fair, I don't know that that's Levine's intent. I'm just
Mhm,
saying the way that they land the plane, I'm just like,
mhm.
dude,
And not only that,
woof.
like if you've played this, guys, whoever's listening, guys, girls, whoever, um, your own daughter has to drown you, has to kill you in the waters of your bath. Like, dude, this is dark. Like this is not I'm laughing uncomfortably right now because the more
It's
that I think
yeah.
about this, the worse that it gets. I think too, man, I I think here on this recording I'm kind of souring on the game a bit too because this message is pretty terrible. Especially because we've been talking about the idea of baptism because this character of Booker has these sins that he knows he needs to atone for, right?
Yeah.
And so his answer to do that is either baptism, okay, let's set that aside for now, or rejecting baptism. No, I'm going to find a way to do this on my own. And he does it through alcohol and through gambling away his wife and his daughter. So that
Well,
ends in
and then
garbage.
but like the atonement, and he doesn't even realize it to a certain extent, but like he is like the whole journey is one of atonement. Like
Right.
he doesn't realize what he's doing, but
Hmm.
he's trying to rescue his daughter. He's
Hmm.
trying to fix the mistake he made,
Right.
15, 20 years ago. He's
Yeah.
like, no, and again, he doesn't like he's subconsciously sort of like searching for that. And I think like that's like again, yeah, because like and that like like don't get me wrong, I enjoy like the interesting sci-fi, the weird, again, the quantum
Right.
entanglement, like that stuff is like I'm like, hey, this is like kind of neat, and it's like cool set pieces, but like that's even there, it's just shallow. It's just like it's a veneer the whole way down. It's like
Hmm.
because like yeah, it's just where it ends is just like ugly and
Yeah.
mean and cold,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like yeah, and it's like and in doing and so like even in doing this, it's like the world would be better off without Elizabeth, so Booker
Mm-hmm.
needs to die. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and it's just like, oh, like there's kind of, I don't know, man. It's like, how about you go back, like you find some sort of reality where Booker doesn't give his daughter to freaking Comstock. How
Right.
about that?
Or I don't remember the mechanics of everything, but can you go back to a Booker that doesn't go to war, like doesn't commit atrocities against the Indians, like something, or a reality where Booker comes across like an actual Christian who will preach the gospel to him and actually provide atonement for his sins, like, but obviously, if this is coming from the mind of someone who doesn't know that freedom from sin, then that's not an option that's presented within the game.
Yeah,
Instead, the options are, become a Booker or become a Comstock, which eventually ends up even taking advantage of the other version of yourself to kidnap you and brainwash your daughter
yeah,
so that you would damn the rest of humanity. You know?
yeah. There's monsters. There's monsters on both sides, like in either ditch. But then,
Yeah.
like too, like even there, where it's just like there's something just kind of like, ugh. Yeah,
The,
like
and
as
and
we're
the
talking about
answer.
this, like it's funny. It's like like I am just like, I'm like, it's like I know I said like you can play this, but I'm starting to be like you can play this, but I don't know if you should.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still on board with that was an interesting, like, my favorite theme in the game is what ends up with the Vox Populi and just saying like, oh, don't become what you hate. It's a cautionary tale of don't become what you hate.
dude,
But
yeah,
there's no like redemptive theme of, like, there is no redemption for Booker. It
mm,
is only death. And the world, here's my problem. This is what I walked away with the game, walked away from the game. I remember this distinctly, is the world is a better place without you. And I'm
mm.
like, oof, I don't
Well,
like that. Like, this is dark.
and again, sort of like what's kind of thing is like the thing that sort of resonates with us is like, yeah, like especially when it starts to kind of click into place, like going back to atonement for a second, like Booker's
Mhm.
trying to atone. And like ultimately, like what's so sort of disheartening is that Levine kind of looks at that and says, there is no atonement. And that's
Right.
what the world
Right.
says. Like that's what we
Hmm.
see in the world today, that people are saying there is like you, like, dude, cancel culture does this all the time where it's like, you have sinned, whether it's like the social sin or whatever. Like, so you say the thing that you're not supposed to, and then people are like, cancel him. And it's like, you cannot atone. You cannot be forgiven. You
Hmm.
like at that point in time, just the best thing for you to do is just die.
Hmm.
Like, and
Yeah.
and I think like that's the part where it's like this, it's kind of like as we're talking about this, I'm like,
Gosh.
this is where like as Christians we're just like, no, we have like, we can look at this game and we can sort of, but this is, we can look at the culture and say, actually, you can be forgiven.
Hmm.
Like, and while you can't atone, there is one who can make atonement for you.
Yep.
Like, and like, and again, where Elizabeth is the Lamb of Comstock, right? The Lamb of God, like Ken. And
Right.
it's one of those things like the God man, Jesus of Nazareth, like he fully God, fully human, came and lived among us, walked among us, lived a life that we could not. He lived a
Hmm.
perfectly obedient and innocent life. He died the death that we should have. And then 3 days later, he rose again and conquered the grave. Like, we're coming off the heels of Easter, right? And like,
Hmm.
so this stuff is like fresh, man. And it's like, and he put death to death. Now, like, it still
Yeah.
has its sting, but it's like, the reality is like, one of the beautiful things about the Christian faith is like, you can be forgiven and atonement has been made for you. Like, yeah, you
Hmm.
on your own power and by your own efforts cannot atone, but atonement can be made and has been made. Like you can be, atonement has been made for you, you
Hmm.
know. And but it
Yeah.
requires true baptism.
Mhm.
You
Right,
know,
which
every
is a death, but it's also a resurrection
and again, that's the important part. Like, yeah,
into
like Booker
Christ.
goes down and he dies and
Mhm.
he goes to the tomb. He descends into the tomb, into the dark, into the cold, into whatever. But like the fact is, Christ came out. And
Mhm.
I'm not trying to like get weird and Sunday schoolish, but like, it's like, dude, like that's the thing is like this game in so many ways, it is so dissatisfying at the end because like we have the better answer. And I think
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
hard part where it's like there's again, there's sort of a despair where like,
right,
like,
yeah.
and it's like, but it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be that way.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and so
Yeah, I think the last point I'll make, okay, and it's totally a side point because all that I think is the best place to go. But thinking about it even covenantally, like this game says it's better for you, like the answer is to just die, and honestly that there is no memory of you and that your lineage is wiped out as well, because it's better for Elizabeth never to have existed either. Whereas the gospel, you see God working covenantally as well. So, man, I think all of that shows how I think there are specific games, we've talked about them before, something even like Near Automata, that look kind of this despair in the eyes, and the redemptive part of it comes outside of the game in comparison to the true goodness and beauty of the gospel message. And so in light of that, that would be how I would recommend, if you want to play this game, that you need to keep in mind. Because I I think I'm falling in that same camp of like a can play, but with heavy caution.
well,
uh
it kind of
like,
reminds me of like
man,
did you read Blood Meridian?
yeah,
And you're like, yeah, you can read this. I don't know if it's a good idea.
right,
Like,
yeah, it's not one that I would recommend to, I like it's, yeah, there is beauty in the way that the story is told, which is weird because it's an ultra violent book. um in the character, like that book still sticks with me. There's a lot in that book that
mhm.
I think is done masterfully and that just like sticks in your craw.
I think that in
But
a lot of ways, it's like even the way we're talking about, like there's a lot of really masterful work in Bioshock Infinite, but
mhm,
also like, and it is there's a lot of violence accompanies all of this.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but it's almost like sometimes the question is like maybe okay, yeah, there's beauty here, and there's some really like excellence here, but like, is it worth?
D-
Is that is it worth the squeeze?
yeah, excellence is probably a better word than beauty. um there might be some, anyways, yeah. I feel like I feel this is weird to say, but I feel like there might be more like chance at redemption in Blood Meridian for the main character,
Mm,
for the kid, than there was for Booker. So, but
yeah,
yeah, I think that's a, we can't give a this was not meant to be a comprehensive review of the
yeah.
game, but those were the main points that I wanted to, I remember finishing the game and just feeling like, oh wow, this is the game that, people think so highly, that was up there with BioShock. And I remember feeling like, no, especially because of the end, like, no, it is not as good as BioShock in my mind, even though I enjoyed the moment to moment gameplay, even though
It
I was hooked by the game. But man, yeah, yeah, I do think the message that it tells is dangerous. It is good when contrasted with the gospel, or it is good to contrast it to the gospel.
mhm.
But yeah, you have to be, yeah, this is one you have to be careful with.